In the last 50 years, or since 1973, silver has hit the $50 plateau a whopping total of twice. Once in 1980 and again in 2011. The last time it even crossed over 30 was in 2013. Now, 10 years after that, we're still waiting to see if the white metal will do anything out of the ordinary. And there are a lot of so-called experts out there calling for silver to explode, but they've been saying that for decades. Now, that being said, have you actually thought about what you'd do if silver hit $50? Would you sell or would you hold? We're going to talk about that and a lot more, so make sure you stay tuned. YouTube, what's shaking? Welcome to another episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. Got a great video for you today, but before I get started, I just want to take a second to thank everyone for the awesome support you've given the channel. It's been a hell of a fun ride, and I've really enjoyed it. You guys are the absolute best. And, well, you already know the next line, right? Best damn community on YouTube, without a doubt. Now, today, I want to touch on a subject that we always talk about, and one that we always debate. Will silver hit $50? And what would we do if it did? Now, hopefully you've all got your exit strategies or ultimate goals planned, but we're going to go over some potential outcomes and what could cause silver to finally explode. Now, here's a spoiler alert. Some of the scenarios aren't all that great. Let's check it out. Feed me! Now, it's important to note that both times silver crossed the $50 threshold, there were serious issues going on in the world. In early 1980, for example, we were seeing the end of the, irresponsible Jimmy Carter era in the White House, and inflation was registering double-digit increases. The cherry on top, well, that was Russia's December 79 invasion of Afghanistan. Now, by the final quarter of 1979, silver prices had gone up to about anywhere between 15 and 25 per ounce. And at those levels, several physical market forces actually combined to act against those high prices. And additionally, you had two major U.S. futures exchanges that traded silver at the time to take steps to force those with margin positions to liquidate those positions. Now, during the Hunt brothers' accumulation of the silver, prices of silver bullion rose from $11 an ounce right around September 79 to $49.45 an ounce in January of 1980. But after the Hunt brothers' failure to corner the market, silver prices ultimately fell to below $11 an ounce just 2 months later. This was the first big spike. The second $50 spike would take place in 2011 as the Fed went on a massive money printing rampage, which they said was aimed at pulling the world out of the latest recession. They would go on to make $4 trillion magically appear. And worse, they put it toward toxic assets from troubled banks. And then the Fed decided to go in the lending business, which included loans to foreign entities. The end result? Strong silver demand in 2011. And that paved the way to a record annual average silver price in a year that was really marked by steep price volatility. Now, retail silver investment demand for physical bullion, bars, and coins surged to record levels in 2011. So that begs the question, what are you going to do the next time silver hits $50? Are you going to sell and take a digital currency or fiat cash in return? Let's dig into that really quickly. So hypothetically, if silver were to hit $50 again, it's fairly safe to say that the world will once again be facing major calamities, such as the 2008 recession or another war maybe in addition to Russia and Ukraine. There are a lot of potential issues out there, and we're already looking at a bleak second half of 2023 as it is. Now, many economists agree that the U.S. economy forecast presents a pretty good chance of going into at least a modest recession in the back half of 2023. They don't think it's going to match up to previous events, but hey, a recession is a recession, right? And we all saw how metals spiked during the war in Ukraine, along with the banks that failed. It was a perfect combination. And this could once again lead to a massive run on metals as people panic and try to preserve their wealth. They've done it time after time and consistently over the years, right? So that brings us to the final question, and that is, what are you going to do if silver and gold spike to historic highs? Are you going to sell? And if you do, what are you going to do with your earnings? Now, if you haven't already, and I hope you have, now's the time to start thinking about that and make sure you have an exit strategy. Now, for me personally, when I do decide to sell, I'm going to look for an asset that could maybe be underpriced during a crisis, like some mountain acreage, something tangible. That's my ultimate goal anyway. For those of you who are familiar with me, you know that's what I'm going for. And I'm not going to sell all my metals. I'll probably hang on to some to see if it goes even higher. But I'll tell you what I won't be buying, seriously. And that's stocks, even though they could take a serious tumble and be real bargains. They certainly were in the 2000 dot-com crash and even during the 2008 recession. But still, you have to consider buying stocks when things look disastrous takes a lot of guts, a lot of cojones, because it is tough figuring out which companies are going to survive. So I'm going to play it safe with something tangible, and that's real estate, and spend whatever I earn from my metals on just that. Now, whether I get back digital currency or fiat cash, whatever, who knows what we're going to be using when that time comes.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
All right, there you have it. So what are your thoughts on what you'll do if silver and gold explode in price? What's your exit strategy? And if you do sell, what are you going to use the earnings for? Be sure to drop a comment down below and let me know. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this topic, and I do try to respond to each one. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. And if you made it this far, well, kudos to you. I'll definitely catch up with you in the next episode, but in the meantime, some crazy dude's about to ask you a question.
What do you want to do with your life?
Damn right. Get stacked. Stay safe and be well, everyone. I am out of here. Peace, folks.
So you have silver that is constantly being used. Then put in the fact we're in silver deficit. Then put in the fact that they say by 2035, all known silver reserves, all currently known silver reserves will be mined out by 2035. So, okay, so that's the reason that physical silver is difficult to get.